Hey guys, welcome to the closing of Matt's reef tank. Enjoyed it that we have now. I'm about to leave on my cycling world tour, and so this tank needs to close down. Eventually, hopefully there'll be a home for it, but in the meantime, I can't get here to take care of it, and I have decided to shut it down. Most of the rock here is gonna go to my friend Leo. Some of the components I'm actually gonna integrate into the house tank, which is a lot smaller, 60 gallon. And some of the inhabitants are gonna go to the house tank as well. So this episode is gonna be for those of us in the reef keeping community that downsize. I know it happens. Most of us continually move the bar up and up and up, just like I have for the past 15 years. But sometimes there comes a time where you've got to look at the whole situation and say, what's the best thing for the reef? Can I still take care of it, or should I just take a step back and focus a little bit more on a smaller habitat that I can control things a little bit better? I've actually been so neglectful of this. I've lost a clam. My leather isn't looking too healthy. Some SPS corals have gone by the wayside. My friend Leo says that he'd really like the sand and the rock and the brain coral on the other side. So that's the mission today, to take out all the rock, try and preserve as much as I can, transport it all the way to Leo, who's a good 45 minutes drive away, unload it to him, then come back here, take the remainder, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break this thing down, set up a smaller container with a heater and a little pump, just so that I can keep the stuff I wanna take to the house living and healthy, and then I'll come back here, pick up that stuff and take it to the house. The silence of a shut down tank. Normally it indicates a water change. In this case, it's... Okay, so first things first, I cleaned out every one of the buckets with RODI, that's purified water, and it is clean and ready to go. I've got 4 salt buckets, 2 big ones, and I'm thinking I'm gonna use that as my home base for the fish while I'm gone. So tough because every piece of rock here has like growth on it directly. I'm really nervous about pulling it out, but I guess I just have to bite the bullet. I think I might need more buckets. I'm running out of real estate. You know, it's funny, as you start to tear a tank apart that's been in service for a long time, whatever, you know what I mean. I discovered something. There's a rock in here. This one right here. This thing is covered in bones. I don't know how old those bones are, but I did lose fung, and that could be fung. Those bones kind of indicate that there's possibly homicide in that tank. Maybe there was a overthrow. That's what happens when you neglect a country. The citizens rise up against whoever was the boss and take him down. Poor Fung. The whole objective of today was primarily to salvage my brain coral, which is attached to a big rock in the tank. As I started to pull everything apart, I started to fill up containers, and I even had planned to take the sand, but I've got enough rock here that I don't want to add any more. I can add a little bit here, but not too much. And I've got most of the live stuff here, but the monster is this rock here, and it would require its own big blue container sitting right at the bottom with some water over it in order for it to have a good place to stay. So instead what I did is I put a pump and a heater inside the top of the main tank. I have my house stuff there that has a heater and a pump circulating, and I'm just gonna take this stuff to my friend, Leo. If I have to make this a 2-day thing, I'll make it a 2-day thing. And I think that this, the way it is sustainable. It's not the best, but it's sustainable. And the fish are in there too. I think they'll be okay. When you break into these things and you start working, you find out projects are normally bigger than you think. I'm at the elevator, about to load all my stuff in and take it to the car, and then I saw that my 2 garbage cans did have a lot of space in them. So what I did is I moved a rock from there to there, and then I put the brain coral. He's right there. Hopefully that's gonna be good enough for him to get to Leo's. I think it will be. It's a pretty robust coral. I don't think there's any room for anybody else in this elevator. Oh boy, sir. Now, I have to drive very smooth and very hot. I don't want the coral to get too cold. That can be pretty bad. Gonna take off the jacket, hit the road, see Leo soon. There's a lot of slashing going on back there. It's funny. When I first had my first big tank, it was about 120 gallons, and I had it in a house in Las Vegas. Before that, I think the biggest one I ever had was around 80 gallons. I never pushed the 100 mark. But I had a 120 gallon tank, and I also had a 100 gallon tank in my one house. I didn't have an RODI system or a container to hold replenishment water. And I used to go to the local Walgreens. It had a coin-operated purified water machine. You would bring your container and then you'd put it in the machine and the machine would fill it up for you. And I remember I would take one of these big blue baskets. It wasn't a bucket, it was like a basket for storage. And I used to go there and fill it up in my little hatchback. I had a little hatchback Kia Spectra. I'd fill it up and I'd transport it from the Walgreens to my house, which is about 1 kilometer away, less than a mile. But it was windy roads. It was like a cul-de-sac. And I remember I would always get the back of my little hatchback soaked whenever I wanted to do water changes. I've got an amazing story about my Las Vegas tanks. I once had like almost over 100 fish tanks in my house at one time. I had bought out a aquarium store in Las Vegas, a pretty popular one. And yeah, maybe I'll tell that story someday. It's a very interesting story. You guys remember this? You know, I got a lot of views on your video.
Yes!
Many people.
About
60,000? Yeah. It's tough making room for stuff, because you have it all perfectly placed on how he has to make real estate for all my stuff. Yeah, you're gonna take off this piece?
They can grow.
Yeah. Cut this off here so you can fit it right there. That's perfect. I mean, kind of perfect. You could use the brain as a bridge and bridge between the, use this piece here.
This mushroom is just the brain, the skin, everything.
All right, so everything from my stuff is in there. Now, I don't have time to do another trip because I've got more sand and stuff to come back. So I'll come back here maybe in a week or something after Shenzhen. And then I'll be able to see how everything looks. I'll bring the better camera and I'll take some video. I'll do like a 500-gallon part 2 because that video we did last time was very popular. So we'll do that again and we'll see how everything is settled in. Already I can see my clam is opened up. And some of my corals are starting to color up, and my cabbage in the back, it's like a neon light. Even in the camera, it's too bright to show. It's nice. And my brain, nice brain. All right, back on the road. I'm headed to the office. I'm gonna take some select pieces to the house, and then I'm gonna set up the office tank just to survive. With sand and everything until I can get the sand to Leo as well. Anyways, I'll catch up with you at the office. See ya. All right, I'm back to the office. I don't have time to do all of this. I think I'm just gonna prepare it. I'm gonna take the home stuff back home. Hope it's doing okay. And then I'll work on this later. All right, back to the house. I'm going to wrap up the house tank by putting in the guys from the office. I'm mixing some water. I'll do a big water change tomorrow after everything's up to temperature and salt and salinity is all good. But now it's just decorating the house tank and getting it ready to go. All right, I finished the tank, and there's some infighting between some of the new guys. You know, when you reorganize a tank, you introduce some new personalities to it. You can't really understand if everything is going well until the next day. The corals need to open up, everything needs to get relaxed. I'm gonna end this for now, but I know I'm not gonna be able to finish this episode for a day or two because there's just too much air. I'll put out the vlog, but I won't put out the Matt's Reef tank until I'm finished. So tomorrow, we'll take one last look and see how everything is going. Why don't I catch up with you tomorrow? Well guys, it's the next day, and the tank is empty. It's not totally finished yet. I still have a bunch of rock and the sand bed to deal with, plus everything under the sump. Wow. It's weird to see the tank disassembled like this with no coral. There's only one remaining fish. His name is Adam. I couldn't get him yesterday. So clean, so clear. There's kind of a strange beauty in a tank that is like this. There's that coralline algae, the purple poking out from little areas. The good thing is that a lot of this stuff found a good home. And I'm going to the house right now. I had to leave early. I just wanted to come here and check on it in the morning, make sure everything was okay. You know what I am gonna do before I leave is I'm gonna stack these rocks better. I know it doesn't matter, but in my mind, the rocks have to be a little bit more beautiful. Even if the tank is really destined for disassemble, I still need to fix these rocks. This is gonna have to settle for a while. Anyways, even at the end, aesthetics are important, right? All right, guys, this is the newly remodeled house tank. Bob's here. The office clown took control and kicked out the other two clowns. The white clown is isolated. Lulu from the office, the yellow one there, is being beaten up by these two guys. Dory from the office is doing really well. The corals seem to be opening up pretty well, but I won't know about them for a while. And then these two blue chromies, they, I think, murdered the one from the office yesterday. I didn't see him jump out anywhere, but I haven't seen him. And if you know blue chromies, you know they're pretty social, so I think it's gone. Anyways, overall, not bad. I was expecting a couple of losses. I'm a little bit angry at his name is Cumdrop, the one clownfish. He's kind of taken over Bob, and that's kind of douchebag thing to do. Kick out the residents. Anyways. One surprise is Tweedledum, the name of the black and white striped cardinal fish. The one from the office, the one that ate the shrimp a long time ago, he got his butt kicked by his partner. The Tweedledum from this tank kicked the Tweedledum from the office tank, and the Tweedledum from this tank's a lot smaller. You could see that's the Tweedledum from the office, and he is not doing good. That's the Tweedledum from here, and he is really defending himself. So there you go. That's where I'm going to end this Matt's Reef Tank. I kind of give you a look at everything. I'm going to do a water change on this guy and call it a day. Sad to close the tank down, but I'm glad I was able to consolidate a bunch of the good stuff and also give a bunch of the good stuff to Leo. And remember, guys, may your pH never waver, may your nitrates never rise. See ya.